All right, today we're going to jump into a really simple but powerful story. It all boils down to one question, really. What does it actually take to be brave? We're going to follow this amazing young girl who ends up teaching her whole town a massive lesson about what's fair and why it's so important to stand up for what's right.
I mean, it's a question we've all probably asked ourselves at some point, right? But what if the answer isn't in some epic legend, but in a simple game of cricket in a tiny little town? Well, let's dive in and find out. Okay, so our story kicks off in this small, pretty quiet town called Dholapur. And it's here that we're introduced to a girl who's just got this incredibly bright spirit. So meet Rani. She's the heart of this whole story. She's just 10 years old, but man, she is full of life. And her absolute favorite thing to do? Playing cricket with her friends in the local park every single evening. It's her thing. But you know how it goes. This daily routine, all this fun and games, well, it's about to get seriously disrupted. There's a totally unexpected challenge heading right for Rani and her friends, and it's happening on their home turf. So what happens is a group of older boys, led by this kid named Rohan, they just show up out of nowhere. And Rohan, he just comes out with this bold statement, basically saying they're taking over the very spot where Rani and her friends play.
Yeah, there's no misunderstanding what Rohan's doing here. He isn't asking nicely. He's trying to intimidate them. I mean, his whole plan is to use the fact that he's bigger and older to scare these younger kids so they'll just give up their space. But Rani, she doesn't back down, not for a second. While all her friends are kind of frozen and scared, she's the one who steps up. And what she says is simple, but it's firm. It's just so brave. She's not trying to start a fight. She's just standing up for what's fair. So yeah, instead of getting into some big shouting match or just, running away, Rani comes up with this surprisingly clever idea, a way to solve this whole standoff. And her plan? It's so simple. It's brilliant. She basically says, let's play a cricket match. The winners, they get to keep the ground. The losers, they have to find somewhere else to play. I mean, you can't get much fairer than that, right? It's a perfect challenge. Of course, Rohan, who's feeling pretty cocky at this point, he agrees right away. He probably looks at Rani and her smaller friends and just thinks, easy win. There's just no way in his mind that his bigger, older team could ever lose to them. And boom, just like that, the challenge is on. So the very next day, it's like the whole town comes out to watch. They're all gathered around the park. This thing has suddenly become way more than just a kids' game. It's a real event. And you could totally feel the difference between the two teams. On one side, you got Ronnie's team. Yeah, they were nervous, you could see it, but they were also super determined. And on the other side, Rohan's team. They were just relaxed, almost arrogant, really, just completely expecting to walk all over them. But here's the thing. Rani's team had a few tricks up their sleeve. First off, Rani herself was just a brilliant captain, making all these smart calls. Then you had Arjun, who was a seriously sharp bowler, and Priya and Samir, they were really strong batters. But the most important piece of the puzzle, they actually played together, like a real team. And then the unbelievable happens. I mean, against all odds, Rani's team plays their hearts out, and they win. They actually win the match. The whole crowd just goes wild. It's this mix of total shock and pure excitement. But listen, what happens after the match is just as huge. Rohan, who's clearly been humbled by this loss, he actually learned something. He walks right up to Rani, sticks to his side of the deal, and just admits it. You were right all along. So, as you can probably guess, this story isn't really just about a game of cricket, is it? No. It's teaching us something really important about how even the smallest, quietest voice can sometimes make the biggest difference of all. And that really gets us to the heart of it. The main takeaway from this whole thing, it's this timeless idea. Always, always stand up for what's right. It doesn't matter if you feel small or if you feel outnumbered. Look at Rani. She was both, but her belief in what was fair was just so much stronger than any fear she felt. So, okay, what are the real life skills we can pull from Rani's story? Well, for one, courage isn't about not being afraid. It's about being afraid and doing the right thing anyway. Second, she showed us what real assertiveness looks like. It's not about being aggressive. It's about finding a constructive, fair solution. And finally, her story is just proof that speaking up, even when you think no one's listening, can actually spark some really positive change.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Just for a second, put yourself in Rani's shoes. When you're faced with a challenge, whether it's big or small, what would you do? It's definitely something worth thinking about. Thanks so much for